Baseball is freaking back, baby. Let's talk the American League. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and I am jacked up, ready to roll because we are here to talk some baseball for the first time, and I don't even know how many months. It's just been too long. I'm excited, and in this video, we're going to talk American League and give out those best bets. We got a lot to talk about, and I can't wait. And as you can see, I have some company. It is the guy, if you watched this last year, he was here last time. He gave out some nice winners. Brad, what is going on, my man?
Nothing much. Just ready to talk some baseball, baby. It's back.
That's what is there anything better than the smell of the grass, the crack of the bat? I mean, it is beautiful. I know Ryan's rolling his eyes somewhere right now, but this is good stuff. I can't wait. So, we got a lot to talk about, and in the words of Billy Bean in Moneyball, how can you not be romantic about baseball? I mean, this is good stuff. So, we got a lot to talk about, and I'm gonna try to go as quick as I can. But if you'd love to talk baseball and just hear baseball, we got a lot to talk about. So, let's first start out by recapping the future bets from last year. All right, not everybody likes to recap the futures, but not here. We love to do it. So look at the bets that we won last year. Acuna to win MVP plus 1,000. Snell to win Cy Young. That was given out in the mid-season preview at plus 950. And then I had the Orioles to win the AL East and to make the playoffs. Hit some big ones. And then Brad hit not as big ones, but he has still had some winners. His Detroit Tigers to go over 16.5. They did that pretty easily. And then the Braves to win the division and the D-backs over 75.5. If only he had the D-backs to make the World Series, that would have been nice. But good call there.
Oh
But
yeah.
of course, we can't just give you the winners, right? I mean, me and Brad make a couple terrible bets. How about the White Sox to win the division and the Padres to win the division? I'm not going to make fun of Brad because I'm pretty sure those are both my bets. In fact, I know they were. And then I had Dylan Cease to win the Cy Young. He did not have a good year. And then Brad's worst bet that he had was ugly. He had Cleveland, White Sox, Detroit, exact finish, first, second, and third. The team that won the division is not listed, but you were close,
Yeah.
Brad. It's okay. We get it. We get it. But anyways, those are the futures from last year. So we were pretty successful. Hopefully, we can continue that again this year. This is our second MLB season on the channel. And as you guys know, we're going to be here daily giving out all the research help, good hitter matchups, pitcher report, all that kind of stuff, as well as best bets. So we got a long MLB season. So I'm ready to get into it. We're going to preview the AL East, AL Central, and AL West, and then finish the video off by giving out our best future bets just for the American League. We will have another video out another time, probably in the next week and a half for the National League. So hit that like button, leave a comment below to help that algorithm, help this channel grow. And if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as we chase our first 21,000 subscribers. You guys are freaking awesome. Now, let's talk some baseball. All right, we start out with the AL East. It is a competitive division, and there are the odds to win the division this year with the Yankees favored at plus 165, Orioles plus 205, who won the division last year, Blue Jays, Rays, and Red Sox. Like I said, Orioles won it last year, Rays, Blue Jays, Yankees finished down there at fourth at 82 and 80. And we're gonna start with the New York Yankees. Brad, give me what you think about this Yankee team. I'm kind of back and forth. I'm going to be honest with you.
I don't think they got much better. I mean, they're still the same. They added Juan Soto, but that's about it. I mean, do you expect Stanton to stay healthy? Probably not. They can't even run from third to home without having to start walking. So, I mean, they got these old studs and stars. That's where it's different from the Dodgers. They're opposite. Dodgers get young stars. Yankees go out and get the old stars. Um, I have them probably going 88 wins. I don't have them winning division. I don't think they will.
I tend to agree with you. I mean, when what he was saying, I mean, we're talking not only that, Aaron Judge, can he stay healthy? We're talking DJ
Exactly.
LeMahieu leading off, 35 years old. Anthony Rizzo, 34 years old, coming off a career worst 706 OPS for Anthony Rizzo. He ain't getting better at this point in his career. Giancarlo Stanton, not only is he hurt all the time, he hit under 200 with a 695 OPS. He just was not good last year. He's not the same player. He came in losing a lot of weight. I get that, but I don't know. And then you got Anthony Volpe, who could improve. He's one of their only young players. But Juan Soto, if you think he's just going to turn a team around and take him from 82 wins to 100, you're wrong. Because what did he do in San Diego? Him, Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, it did nothing. In baseball, it is not like basketball. You need a lot more. So I think we're on the same page there because I do think they are overrated. I think they can make the playoffs, but I do think they're overrated for sure. Their rotation, I mean, it's led by the main man, Garrett Cole, the AL Cy Young winner. To me, their success, they did add Marcus Stroman, by the way. So I'm going to say that
Yeah.
is a good depth piece in the rotation. You know, it's not bad. He's a 3 or 4 starter. He's not a guy who keys a lot, but I think it's gonna come down to Carlos Rodon. He was hurt last year, and then when he did play, he was awful. And he's been really good his whole career. Can he stay healthy? If he returns to form, I mean, that does help this rotation. You got a hell of a 1-2 punch with Cole and Rodon. But yeah, what do you think of this rotation? Anything special?
Like you said, it's gonna be the same thing. They got three, maybe four, if Rodon stays good, right? Stays healthy. You also still have Nestor Cortez, who's a little underrated in my opinion, but I mean he's not an absolute stud, but
Nasty
he can
Nestor.
definitely help. And if Clark Schmidt, who's their fifth starter right now,
Yeah.
young growing star, if he could turn it around, then yeah, they'd have a pretty decent, starting rotation. Their bullpen's garbage besides having their closer. But that's literally about it.
Well,
That's literally all they have is Clay
yeah,
Holmes.
they had the lowest bullpen ERA last season, but this year is a little different.
Exactly.
They do have Tommy Cannell, I don't know, Cannell, I think it is. Him and Clay Holmes are kind of their only really legit options, but it's the days of the Yankees being the most dominant bullpen in the league. I think they're not here right now. But again, if this rotation stays healthy, I just don't think the lineup's going to be as good as you think. I mean, one injury, they're not as deep as you think. Soto could have a great year, but we're talking about Soto is a guy who hasn't had more than 30 home runs except for one time in his career. He's not a guy coming in here to hit 50 bombs and 140 ribbies. Is he good? Absolutely. But he draws a lot of walks. I mean, the walks doesn't just turn you into a huge, I mean, he's got a great eye. He puts together great at bats. But I don't know. I just don't see him being like the top 3 hitter in the major leagues like a lot of people think he is. Otherwise, you would have seen more of an impact too for the San Diego Padres. But anyways, that's just kind of what we think. I think we're on the same page with the Yankees. They're going to be improved, but I don't know if they can get to the division. We'll talk about that later. But Tampa Bay Rays, they are worst team this year, but it is hard to doubt them because they seem to take anybody and just make them good again. So what do you think about the Tampa Bay Rays?
I mean, same thing. They don't have anything
Yeah.
that really wows you. I mean, their starting rotation, all they really have is Eflin, who went out and got a 350 ERA.
Mhm.
But that's about it. And they got a good closer in Fairbanks. And their pitching is, but they usually, and that's usually what was their strength was having good bullpens and good starting rotation. But they lost Glass now. They lost all their good pitching. Now these studs on offense, like Diaz, Paredes, and Rosarena are gonna have to step up and
Yeah,
carry that
no, I
team.
mean, I agree, and I think a big loss that no one's talking about is Jeffrey Springs. He was good last year, but he's out
Yeah.
until like second half of the year because of Tommy John. Same thing with Drew Rasmussen's been decent. Like you said, lost last now. No Shane McClanahan, Tommy John. I mean, these are legitimate pitchers right
Hmm.
now that they don't have, and I don't know if they can make it last for that long because I mean, you said Eflin, then we got like Aaron Savali. It's just not pretty for them. Taj Bradley might be a good young player, a good young pitcher that could show some improvement, but other than that they're gonna have to just moneyball the crap out of this season. I don't know how they're gonna do it, because obviously there's no Wander Franco. I think he is still in court. I don't know what is happening with that yet, but his career might be completely over, and it is just ridiculous. It's crazy. But anyways, other than that, their bullpen is decent. Like you said, Fairbanks, and then
He's
Jason
a good one.
Adams, pretty solid. But other than that, they're not just absolutely loaded. But again, if you doubt the Rays too much, they'll probably start out the season with a 20-game winning streak again somehow because of the Rays. So, but anyways, we don't need to talk too much about the Rays. I think we're both kind of on board there. I see them finishing kind of middle of the pack here in this division. How about you?
I got them winning like 84 wins. Same
Yeah,
thing. They'll be middle of the pack. They'll be competing in that division because they seem to be competing every year. Losing
yeah,
Manuel Margot is also a big hit for them too.
that's true. Yep, absolutely. And then to a team that I don't think people actually think they're going to be good unless you talk to Boston fans. I don't think the Red Sox are that great. Are they going to improve? Yes, I think they are going to improve. But no big splashes this offseason, which you're used to seeing. But they lost Justin Turner, Alex Verdugo. They haven't re-signed Adam Duvall, and they traded 35-year-old Chris Sale. I don't know how much that hurts. And then they added Tyler O'Neill, ex Tacoma Rainier, ex Seattle Mariner. And, I don't know. Their lineup, it's going to go. I'll say one player. If you're looking for a fantasy breakout player, Tristan Casas, that guy can hit. That guy can rake. He is a stud. Him and Devers and can Trevor Story stay healthy? But I don't know. I just think they're a 500 type team again. What do you think about the Boston Red Sox?
Yeah, same thing. I have them below 500 because of the division. They got to play the Rays, Baltimore, Yankees. Um, but I like Yoshida. I think he's gonna have a
Yep.
better year now. Now that he's played one full year now, his power hit numbers weren't as great as they were supposed to be or projected to be, but I think he'll be better. I have them at like 62 to 65 wins. I don't think they'll even be 500.
You say
I just
62?
I think
Like the
62 to
worst?
65, 62 to 65 wins because they just don't have the pitching. They
That
have
would be
nobody.
like the worst team in the league, wouldn't it? 62 wins.
It'd be close. I think they're gonna be bottom third for sure. They're
Wow,
gonna
right
get
on.
they're gonna get dead last in that division. I think.
Hot take right there. Back to
Yep.
Tristan Casas, just because I want to talk about him. He had the highest OPS on the team as a rookie, and he had the third highest OPS in all of the major leagues from July 8th on. This guy can freaking hit. He has a chance to become a superstar again. Fantasy baseball, not a bad idea there. Brad and I are in the same league, so Brad, just pretend I didn't say that, and you have no idea what I'm talking about. But Rafael Devers started out slow, still ended with 33 home runs. We know what he can bring. But like you said, it's the rotation. I mean, when Bayo's your ace, it's not good. Below average K rate. He's not a guy that gets a lot of swings and misses. 4.30 expected ERA, and then you're counting on guys like Cutter Crawford, Pavetta, newly acquired Lucas Giolito. My goodness, has he struggled the last couple seasons? Can he find his form again? I don't know. And then their bullpen: Kenley Jansen, Chris Martin, couple good pieces, but it's nothing special, that's for sure, and they're gonna have to outscore teams to win, I think, and I think we're both in agreement on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're a Red Sox fan, sorry, we don't think you're gonna be that great this year. But Blue Jays, my goodness, are the Blue Jays ever going to live up to expectations? Um, Surprisingly, which is not what we thought of the Blue Jays last couple of years, is their strength was their starting pitching. It was not their lineup. Gausman was awesome. Jose Barrios started to pick it up. Bassett, Kikuchi was okay. And then Alec, I've fallen off an absolute cliff. Manoa. I don't know if he's going to make the team or not, but if they can stay healthy again, they're going to be pretty strong in the rotation. But it comes down to this lineup. What do you think about the Blue Jays this year?
I think they're gonna be good. They're gonna compete with the Yankees for the second spot in the AL East. Um, like you said, good starting rotation. If Manoa could figure it out, the pitch clock killed him. He's a big boy, and obviously he used to take as much time as possible between
Yeah,
pitches, but having to rush it, that killed him. All the stats will show that. They got a good bullpen. Romero's probably one of the best closers in the game right now.
yeah.
That'll help. But I mean, for them, it's all gonna be their offense. I mean, they got bats.
They do. Can the bats live up to it? So Vlad has not had a great last couple seasons. I'm not going to talk too much about Vlad because I will talk about him later in this video. But it's him and Bobichette. Can they return to stardom? Well, Bobichette has, but can Vlad be that prospect, that can't miss prospect that we saw 4 or 5 years ago, however long it's been? And then they lost Matt Chapman, obviously, just a guy with power, hits like 220. Not nothing huge loss. I know my Seattle Mariners are looking into Matt Chapman a little bit, but they're pretty much running it back with the same lineup. Can they get some more out of it? And can the starting pitchers stay healthy again? To me, they're another wild card team, maybe first, second round. I mean, that's just it's just the same. I don't see anything big. I'm surprised they didn't add any big pieces. But anyways, that's the Blue Jays. Again, we'll talk about any best bets we have at the end. But Baltimore Orioles, I mean, I love this team. I just do. If you are a Baltimore fan, you have a lot to be excited for. I don't think anybody has more hope than Orioles fans right now. They have an unbelievable young nucleus of players, and their biggest offseason addition was Mr. Corbin Burns. Mr. Cutter himself throws a hell of a cutter. And then they have the number one MLB prospect, Jackson freaking Holiday, and he may actually make the team already this year, to be honest with you. So, yeah. Anyways, what do you think about this Orioles team without giving away too much?
Yeah, no, I think the key would be if Jackson Holiday makes the team. I mean, it'd be cool for baseball to see. I mean,
Yeah,
kid's super young. I don't for sure think he will. I think maybe he'll make it, and they for like the first month they go down depending because they still have good stars in the middle infield. You still have Gunnar Henderson, Mateo. They're not.
Mhm.
Henderson's legit, but Mateo is just a speed guy. He plays good defense. But you still have Adley Rushman, one of the best catchers in the game. Great starting rotation. Grayson Allen, Brash, he's legit too. And then you got I mean, they got old Kimbrel as their closer right now, which is kind of scary. But Cano's also a good reliever as well. Um,
Dude, yeah.
Cedric Mullins needs to come back. I love Anthony Santander. That dude's like
Yep.
one of my favorite players. Um, yeah,
Underrated. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I
Austin Hayes is also very underrated as well.
yeah.
Austin Hayes
Yep.
is a legit player.
Well, he was an all-star last year, I think, if I remember right,
Yeah.
but I could be wrong. But here's what's worrisome for them for their rotation. Kyle Bradish is injured right now. He got a
Yep.
platelet-rich plasma for his elbow. That is not a good sign. Does that lead to maybe Tommy John or something? Possibly. Hopefully they can get it fixed. And then John Means, who I thought would be a good bounce back candidate again this year, he is going to be about a month late as well. So it's not a great start for their rotation. You never want to start out their season injured. Luckily, they got Corbin Burns, but again, they're going to need those two guys. But here, a guy, if you're looking for another fantasy breakout star, it's Grayson freaking Rodriguez.
Mhm.
He was so good when he got brought back up. I mean, it was pretty impressive. And to be honest with you, 3 of the top 16 Cy Young favorites are Orioles starters: Corbin Burns, Kyle Bradish, and Grayson Rodriguez. So, Grayson was just the man. My goodness, he was missing a lot more bats, giving up a lot less home runs, had better command of all his pitches. I mean, he was really good when he got brought back up. So maybe it's just me, but I am very high on Grayson Rodriguez. You like him?
Yeah, no, I had him on I think all
Yeah.
my fantasy teams. I mean, I like dude. He's legit. He's got good stuff.
Yep. No, he's a stud. So, I mean, their offensive success is going to come down to Gunnar Henderson, obviously the rookie of the year. Adley Rutschman, one of the best, if not the best catcher, all around catcher in the MLB. And then they have a guy, Heston Kjerstad. He played 13 games last season. I think they're expecting a lot out of him. And then you got your guys, like you said, Santander, Mountcastle, Austin Hayes, Cedric Mullins. I mean, they got talent everywhere. They got a very deep lineup, which is,
Mhm.
awesome to see. And their bullpen, they are going to be without Batista, which is a big loss. But like you said, they still got Cano, Dylan Tate, guys like that. So they're still going to be solid. Craig Kimbrell, hold your breath, guys, because when he's on the mound, I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be nerve wracking. I'll tell you that. So, but sky's the limit for this Orioles team. Some people think they're 1 or 2 years away. I don't know. Maybe, but all I know is they have a lot of talent coming through. So we'll talk about that in a little bit with some best bets. But that's the AL East. I think we're kind of on the same page there. We both like the Orioles. We think the Rays are just kind of okay. The Blue Jays will be about the same, and then it'll be up to the Yankees. Really, tells us division. Will they improve that much, or will they still, just be a wild card type team? So, any last things you want to say about this division, or players, or teams, or anything?
Yeah, no, I think the Orioles are going to win it again. They're going to surprise everybody again by just playing good baseball. They got young talent that play all facets of the game well. That's where the Yankees
Hmm.
don't have. They're just old and want to hit bombs, and
I agree.
hopefully their
No, I
starting pitching carries them. That's about it.
yeah, I agree. I agree. And by the way, if Aaron Judge stays healthy, that guy could hit a million home runs because I think they said he's going to be hitting 2 and Soto 3. Which means you're gonna have to pitch to Aaron Judge, and he hasn't always had that. That's not gonna be pretty. So he could hit quite a few bombs this year, that's for sure. But anyways, that is the American League East, and this is gonna be anticlimactic because we are now moving to the AL Central. Those are the odds to win the division in the AL Central. The Twins favored to win it again at -115. I've seen -140 on some books too. Tigers +350, Guardians +350, Royals +850, and the Chicago freaking White Sox +4,000. Oh, how that rebuild did not work out. That's for sure. But let's get into the teams now. We're going to start with those Minnesota Twins. They won a playoff series last year. They won the division by 9 games. Um, guys, this is an interesting team. So their lineup, they hit the third most home runs in the MLB last season, but they're 21st in batting average. This team lives or dies by the long ball. And they were dead last when it comes to strikeouts. Struck out the most in the league at 1,654 times. And here's a fun fact: they are going to have 4 first-round picks in their lineup. That's right. So it starts with the big three with these guys. It's up to Buxton and Royce Lewis. Can those guys stay healthy? And while I say his name, a fantasy breakout, if he can play all season, is Royce Lewis. That guy can freaking mash the ball. And then Carlos Correa. So it's going to be about health for me. Royce Lewis, poised for a breakout year, like I said, but in 58 games last year, 309 batting average, 372 OBP, 15 home runs. They got some hitters. So, what, Brad, what do you think about this team? You see any fall off, or you think they're going to be kind of right where they left off last year?
Oh, it's always gonna be better if you don't re-sign Joey Gallo. I mean, that's where half their strikeouts went just individually.
That's
I mean,
true.
that guy had more home runs than hits, which is amazing.
Did he
Um,
really?
yeah, it's an impossible stat you can think of. But yeah, and adding Carlos Santana to the lineup also, a veteran presence, switch hitter. He's
Mhm.
lost a little bit of his average, but he still got 23 bombs at 86 ribbies
Yeah.
last year. I think they'll be all right. It's really going to be on Correa and Buxton. If both of them can erase last year and not have those bad seasons again, like they'd be even better. I have them going like 90 wins.
Yeah. No,
Obviously
I
probably
mean,
going to win the division.
oh yeah. I mean, one of the best lineups in baseball still. And if they can cut down on the strikeouts, you got guys like Alex Kirilloff, one of the first round picks. He's been battling injuries a lot, but if he can stay healthy, he also adds a good piece towards the bottom of the lineup. And I don't know if you saw rookie Edward Julian. Julian,
Yep.
he was good
Yep.
last
Second
year too.
baseman.
So
Yep.
yeah, so they, I
And
mean, they got a lot of
Max Kepler. Max Kepler
yeah.
had a good year.
I mean, their bottom of their lineup could have better games than the top of my Seattle Mariner lineup. So, anyway, so they're loaded on offense. We know that, but the rotation is what it's going to be about because they lost Sonny Gray and Kenta Maeda. Now they're a two-headed monster with Pablo Lopez and the guy with two first names, Joe Ryan. So, you know, I don't know if their depth is enough because now they're going to be counting on guys like Chris Paddock, Anthony DeSclafani, Louis Varland. I don't know. What do you think about this
Ober.
rotation?
Good old Ober.
Obear,
Yeah.
Obear, okay,
Yeah.
Obear.
It's I mean, it's decent. It's not going to be the most. They don't really have much of a bullpen either. I mean, they have one of the best closers in the game with Duran, but that's really about it. Hopefully that offense we just talked about carries them. They don't even need pitching.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's gonna,
How does anybody hit Duran? How do you hit him? Like literally, I have no idea. The guy throws a million miles an hour. He's just
yeah.
nasty, absolutely nasty. But I mean, their bullpen was kind of just average. I see it being there. But again, remember when we talked about this team? They don't need to win 110 games. Like they just
No,
need
they
to
don't.
win the AL Central. That's all. They just need to
No.
win what 80 something games to win
Yeah,
this division, probably.
That's why I had him at like 90. That's probably going to win it at 90.
Yeah, they're probably gonna roll away with it. But anyways, yeah, so that's the Minnesota Twins. And then Detroit Tigers, Mr. Bradley's team. I'll take it away. What are we gonna see from this Tiger team? You said they were gonna be better last year, and they were. Do you still see improvement again? Because they had 78 wins last year. Are they gonna be right around the same? What's going on?
Yeah, I have them taking another bump. I have them going up to like 84 wins. We did get better. Like you said, we got Kenta Maeda now from the
Hmm.
Twins. So we got him. Skubal, who's obviously, if he stays healthy, is literally a top 3 to 5 pitcher in the league, period. We got a decent bullpen. We got Lang. We got Will Vest. And then the hitting. We got good young stars now. We added some, veteran presence like Mark Canna, Gio Urshela. We just gotta get rid of Javi Baez. I mean, that guy needs to go. I mean,
He's
we're paying that guy
awful.
we're paying the guy to over $200 million to hit in the 8th spot in the lineup, which is absolutely strange. He needs to be gone at the trade deadline, and
He-
we can get
The,
anybody else
the
who'll be
most
fine.
expensive 8-hole hitter in MLB history.
Yeah, it blew,
Jesus.
blew my mind. Not having Miguel Cabrera now, it frees up space as well. That's why I would love to get rid of Javi Baez because we can go sign some of these free agents. Go get a Matt Chapman. Go get
Agree.
somebody.
Agree.
Go get somebody and pay them a little bit. Be fine
Yeah.
with it. And even with all that, I still think they'll win 84 games.
I mean, that's a good season. They're improving. There's two guys that if you follow the Tigers, you know this already. Riley Green. He is a stud. He had his
My
year
boy.
cut short with injuries, but that guy is a freaking stud. 288 average, 349 on base percentage, great top of the lineup hitter. To me, the sky's the limit. When I watch him play, this kid is good. And the one guy that's taken a little longer than I think, at least I thought, is Spencer Torkelson. He hit
Yep.
233 last season, but he did hit 31 home runs. And there's a stat out there that just kind of shows you he's going to improve. I think he had a 14.2% barrel rate, which is in the 91st percentile in the Major League Baseball. If he can kind of cut down on those strikeouts that he had, we're not asking him to hit 290 or anything, but he has a chance to hit 40 bombs. I mean, he's that kind of hitter. Like I say, he didn't have the greatest of years last year, and he still hit 31 home runs. So he's good. But there's one question I have for you, Brad, because I actually literally want to know. You follow the Tigers more than anybody. Tell me about this young Parker Meadows kid. Is this guy just like the next big thing, or what's going on with him?
I love that guy. I think he's gonna be legit. He's a Gold Glove defender out there.
Yeah.
He hits for power. As everybody knows, it's Austin Meadows' little brother, who was
I
a good
actually didn't
baseballer
know that.
himself.
I
Yeah,
actually did not know that.
yeah, it's
Okay.
his brother. Yeah. So the other key, yeah, he's gonna be great. Our second baseman we just signed, who has no MLB experience, we just signed him for $28 million. Colt. He's supposed to
Mhm.
be our
Yep.
starting second baseman, and he's like 19. And we already paid him he's $28 million. This is where some of that money's going that we're not paying Miguel Cabrera anymore.
Mhm.
Um, I we haven't got we have one of the best minor league systems in the league when it comes to pitching and young talent. They all go everywhere else. We still have guys like Akil Badu who are still really good, and we got guys. It's
You
awesome to
do, and
see.
I think you guys are a year or two away still, but you can see it.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know what I mean? You can see that talent. Then you start adding one or two big veteran pieces, things like that. But you may talk about him later. But Tariq Skubal, guys, if you don't know this guy, this kid is freaking good. 2.80 ERA last season and only 80 innings. 2.01 expected ERA. That is insane. He had an elite 33% strikeout rate, which is, by the way, in the 99th percentile. Hash brown, freaking awesome. Only a 4.5% walk rate too, and that strikeout to walk rate was absolutely bonkers for this guy. And here's a wild stat: he got a 41.3% swinging rate on fastballs thrown outside the zone. People were chasing his fastballs. That's the 99th percentile. It's wild. But other than him, I mean, like you said, Kenta Maeda, the Twins helps add depth. I don't trust Jack Flaherty. I'm gonna be honest with you, but he's not an ace now. He's just depended on as like a number four guy. And then Matt Manning and then Reese's Pieces Olsen. He's they're five starters, 5, 6 starters. You're not
yeah.
expecting a lot, but anyways, it starts and ends with Scooble. He's got to he's the ace of the staff now. That Eduardo Rodriguez left to Arizona. So that's the Tigers. Let's move on to the next team though. Let's talk about the Cleveland freaking Guardians. Struggled last season. They've changed coaches. Out with Terry for Encona and in with a guy from around here, Mr. Steven Vogt. He's an ex MLB catcher and he's just a really good dude. But their lineup, my God, do they lack power? They hit 124 home runs last year. 124 home runs as an entire team over an entire season. The next closest team was the Nationals at 151. It is it was crazy, guys. And just to compare, the Braves had 307. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy. And there was nothing done to fix it. There's 0 players that are projected right now to hit 30 home runs. Only 2 guys are projected to even hit over 20, which is Josh Naylor, Jose Ramirez. I don't know. I don't love this team. I know they like to play small ball, and that's fine. You don't have to hit home runs, but what do you think about the Guardians this year?
Same thing. They'll probably be middle of the pack division. I have them getting second in division. I have them getting like 88 wins. I think the Tigers will give them a run for the money for the
Mhm.
second place in the division, maybe. I mean, they signed Bo Naylor. They signed Josh Naylor's brother. He's now the catcher. So now you got
Mhm.
the brothers on the team. But like you said, they lack power. They're a very contact hitting team, but it works. Like Stephen Kwong gets on base. Jose
Yep.
Ramirez, and Naylor, they hit him in, and it seems to work. Their starting rotation is I mean, all they really have is Bieber and McKenzie, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. And also one of the best closers in the game too. Clase, that guy,
Well, oh
102
god.
mile an hour cutter, which is
He's in
insane.
yeah. He's insane. I will say I disagree with you about just being Bieber and McKenzie because I think Tanner Bibby's a stud. He is a breakout candidate. If you're another fantasy breakout player, I like to throw these out in the middle of the video. 2.98 ERA last year, second in rookie of the year. That guy's a stud. Tristan McKenzie. I mean, he only pitched 16 innings. He's got to stay healthy. But 2 years ago, he had a 2.96 ERA, 31 starts, and a 25% K rate. So if they can stay healthy, if Justin Bieber can just get back to form at all, he had a 3.80 ERA with a career low 20.5% K rate. That was weird to see. I remember doing K props and everything whenever he pitched, and it was always under because he just wasn't the same guy that we all thought he was going to be. So it's a decent three-headed monster. Logan Allen, Gavin Williams. I don't love Gavin Williams was a rookie last year, but other than that, there's not much to be excited about. They got Kyle Manzardo over in a trade. He's a rookie first baseman, but guess what? He's a first baseman who lacks power because that's what they love. The Cleveland Guardians, they did strike out the lowest amount in the major leagues, which you should if you're only hitting 100 and something home runs. But
Yeah.
they only struck out 1,142 times. To compare that, the Twins struck out 1,654 times. So We all know what they are. They have a clear identity: bat on ball, and then play some small ball. So that's what they do. I think we all there's a lot of. Is it just me, or is there just a lot of like middling, just okay teams that we're talking about, like the Guardians, the
Yeah,
Tigers, and then teams like
there's
the
there,
Rays. I don't know.
there's literally like two teams in every division that are just eh
Yeah,
in every single division. There's just two teams where it's like, all right, they're not going to be fun watching. And they're not going to be
yeah.
very good.
Agree. Um, and now let's just go quick on these next two teams because Kansas City Royals. There's a few pieces I love. We all know Bobby Witt. He's an AL MVP candidate. He is. He's an absolute unbelievable stud. And I like Vinny Pasquantino. Nobody's talking about him. He got
Yep.
hurt last year. He puts up good numbers, guys. He is pretty unbelievable. He is an elite bat on ball guy. He had only an 11.9% K rate. And this guy is young. 11.9% K rate. 91.7% zone contact. I mean, when the ball is in the zone, he puts the bat on the ball. He's a good hitter, along with, like I said, you got Bobby Witt and Salvador Perez, who's been there for 128 years, I'm pretty sure. But he will be in the middle of the order again. Rotation is god awful, except for one guy that I like, and it's Cole Reagans. 2.74 ERA, 89 Ks, and 71 innings. Another great fantasy breakout player, in my opinion. But, they added what, Waka and Seth Lugo. So, do you have anything positive to say? I mean, they do have Jordan Christmas Tree Lyles. That guy gets lit up like none other. So,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Talk about fire. No, like you said, it's mainly the young pieces. What's exciting about the Royals. Like you said, Bobby Witt Jr. is probably the top three shortstop in the game right now. I mean, the
Yep.
shortstop hitting 30 bombs and 96, ribbies, and hitting for average too, 276.
And stolen
I like,
bases. Yeah.
yeah, I like MJ Melendez too. The smart of them to
Yeah.
move him from catcher to play outfield. That kid's a stud.
Hmm.
They signed Hunter Renfro, which is whatever. That's not much. But yeah, like Pasquantino, I have him being like a breakout player. I think he's gonna have a legit season. He's gonna probably bat
Yeah.
somewhere in the 270s, 280s, and probably hit you like 25 plus bombs.
Yeah, no, solid player. I mean, when you have a guy who's that elite at putting the bat on the ball, good things are going to happen, obviously. So that's the Royals. I don't think they're improved in the rotation. I don't really think they're improved in the bullpen. 35-year-old Will Smith is probably going to be their closer. That's right,
Yeah.
not Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but the other guy. And they had the second highest ERA last year. I mean, they're not going to be good. They're not trying to jack up or load up their bullpen at this point, but they could score some runs. They could be sneaky good on offense, but that's about it. But let's move to the Chicago White Sox. Hot freaking garbage. I mean, hot garbage. Just a few years ago, we were talking about this team as the next up and coming team. They are going to be competing for World Series titles, and now we're talking about them maybe losing 100 games. What do you think about this Chicago White Sox team?
They're a very underperforming team. Like
Yep.
most of these teams are. They have all these studs. Like Robert, you got Robert, Moncada, Vaughn, um, you know, all these guys over there.
Eloy
They had
Jimenez.
not, yeah,
Yeah.
they don't Eloy Jimenez. They don't even have Tim Anderson anymore, which is fine. They got nobody at
What
shortstop right
happened to
now.
him? My God, Tim Anderson fell off a cliff and couldn't play baseball anymore.
Ever since Jose Ramirez knocked him out, he got knocked out of the league. He literally
That's
got
what
knocked out of the league. He knocked him
that's
out the league. I mean, Dylan Cease is, Dylan Cease is still good. He had a very terrible year compared to his numbers, but Kopech's decent. I think they're.
it
I still think they'll have decent amount of wins. I think they'll still be close to 500 because that's usually where they finish. It's 81 and
yeah.
81, like every year somehow, which is insane. I think they'll have like 75, 76 wins. They'll
Yeah,
be good for like fourth in division.
I think they're losing 90 plus games this year. I think they suck. And I'm not just mad because I picked them to win the division last year and they let me down. But Dylan Cease is good. He strikes out a ton of batters. He was not good last year, but in my opinion, he's playing for a trade. He's playing for his new team because this White Sox team is probably going to trade him by the trade deadline.
They're
His
sellers. They're sellers for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. Oh, yeah, big time. This team reminds me of what I've seen from the Seattle Mariners forever, where you have all this hope and then all these prospects underperform, and that's what happened. All these guys did. Luis Robert or Robert, however you want to say it. Um, I mean, to be honest with you guys, he was supposed to be an MVP candidate, hasn't got there. A lot of injuries were the reason. Eloy Jimenez, Tim Anderson has like zero power now and just is okay hitting. I think he went to the Marlins, by the way, right? Tim Anderson, something like that. But
I
anyways,
believe so.
And if you want another breakout player, maybe Andrew Vaughn. Like Brad
Mhm.
talked about, he's improving. I'm expecting him to hit some bombs at some point. He can hit the ball a long ways. And then Moncada is playing for his next deal. This is the last year of his contract. So other than that, rotation, Kopech, guys, I'm just not gonna. I thought he was gonna be really good. He is struggling. He needs to be a bullpen guy and just jack up for 1 inning, throw 101. I don't know what happened to him. He's just not very good. And then you got guys like Eric Fetty, Michael Soroka, Chris Flexen, the ex Mariner. I mean, that's just disgusting. So I think we're both in agreement. This team is on the way down, starting a new rebuild yet again. Kind of like the Seattle Mariners do every 5 years. All right, but anyways, that's the crappy AL Central. I think we're on board with that. Did you have anything to add about any of these teams or players?
No, that's pretty much about it. It's lackluster division every year. It's
Yeah.
interesting towards the end of the year because it gets so close because all the teams are not very good that it's like, hey, you
Yeah,
never know. My Tigers could squeak one out. And 'cause Tigers usually play good within the division. That's where most of our wins come from.
that's true. That's true.
Ironically, is playing in division and beating the good teams in the division, beating
Yep.
the White Sox, the Cleveland's, and
Mhm.
Minnesota.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right, and I think they changed how they're doing the schedule this year a little bit, like less games in the
Yeah,
division. Yeah. So, we'll see. That's the AL Central, but now it's time to move on to the AL West. All right, those are the odds for this super competitive AL West. We got the Astros at plus 100, Texas Rangers plus 200, my Seattle Mariners plus 300, and then the two shit shows, LA Angels at plus 4,500 and the Oakland A's at plus 2 billion. Okay, I may have added a couple zeros, but it doesn't matter. They're horrendous, but it's a
just a couple.
three-headed monster. Just a couple. It's a three-headed monster. Let's talk about the defending champs to start out. I can't believe I'm saying the defending champs with the Texas Rangers. They are trying to become the first back-to-back champion since 1998 to 2000 Yankees when they absolutely dominated. Notable losses for this team. They do not have Aroldis Chapman. They do not have Jordan Montgomery. I believe as of recording, he is still a free agent. Am I right, Brad? Did I miss anything? He's still a free agent, right?
Yeah, Montgomery's still a free agent.
Yep, yep. And then Martin Perez, and they lost Mitch Garver to my Seattle Mariners. But they added Tyler Mahle, Kirby Yates, David Robertson. Nothing big. But here's the deal, guys. This lineup is freaking loaded. Just absolutely loaded. The better Seager is coming off hernia surgery, so we'll see if he can stay healthy again. Evan Carter is the favorite for Rookie of the Year. And by the way, they have another rookie that I am going to be talking about later, so I will not mention it right here. But I mean, what else can we say, Brad? We're talking Adolis Garcia. We got Marcus Simeon. I mean, this team is just absolutely loaded.
Yeah, no, you got Jonah Heim in there,
Yeah,
Nathaniel Lowe. I love Marcus Simeon, Josh Young. I mean, in the All Star game, three of the four positions in the infield were Rangers players. They
stupid.
had they had catcher, yeah, catcher, first, second, shortstop. I think third base was the only one that wasn't a Ranger. So, and these guys hit RBIs. In that starting lineup,
Hmm.
the guy that has the least is literally Young with 70 ribbies. But other than that, they're all at like 80, 90, 100. They all hit for average too. The lowest average was Adolis Garcia, 245. Corey Seager hit 327 with 33 bombs and 96 ribbies
He's one of the smoothest hitters
with an
I've ever
OPS
seen.
of 1.013. It's just short and
Wow.
sweet. He just turns.
It's just unbelievable. I don't know why we had to get the other Seager on the Mariners and why we didn't draft his freaking brother, but
The,
he's
the,
just
the fact that
unbelievable.
the Dodgers let Corey Seager go is insane.
True. Correct. That is true. But he did sign a humongous contract. That helped. But anyways, rotation. This is where it's gonna get a little tricky for them. Max Scherzer, Jacob DeGrom, remember him? Tyler Mahle, all expected to start on the IL this season. And Scherzer and DeGrom, and I think maybe even Tyler Mahle might not be back till the second half of the year. Can they get through the first
Mhm.
half without them three? Now we're talking on relying on guys like John Gray, Nathan Eovaldi, Andrew Heaney, Dane Dunning. I mean, it's just I don't know. Do you think this rotation can hold up long enough, or they're just going to be? Is this one of those where when we're betting this every day, we just take the over in their game because it's going to be 11-9 every game?
Uh, yeah, I started doing prize picks last like for football season, I'm going to be very well on Price Picks for baseball. I'm pretty excited about it. But
Nice.
I think the starting rotation will hold on because, as we just said, their offense is probably one of the best offenses in the league for sure. It's them and Atlanta are probably the best offenses in my opinion in the league
Yep.
right now. Um,
Yep.
and yeah, they'll carry it.
You don't think the Mariners are?
Mariners are damn good. Don't get me wrong, but
Well,
Texas Rangers are still better in my opinion.
the Mariners have never been the best lineup. Anyways, and then the bullpen. This is insane, guys. The bullpen was an awful 30 for 63 with a 47.3% in save chances last year. And oh, by the way, they won a World Series. Go figure. They added Yates, they added Robertson. They had the seventh highest bullpen ERA last year, the second worst in the playoffs. You always say you need a good bullpen to win a World Series. Well, guess what? You absolutely do not. You just need a rake. And that's what the Rangers did last year, and they won a World Series. They're going to struggle to pitch first half of the year. Three starters out. I see them. I see them as a wild card team. I can't. I mean, I can't imagine them not making it just because their lineup is just so good. I don't know because of those pitcher injuries. I don't know if they can win this division. What do you think they can still?
Yeah, I have them winning.
Okay,
I
and
still
talk
have them
more
winning,
about
like
them
you
too.
said. Second half, those pitchers come back and they'll be even better. If they
Mhm.
can cruise, by All Star break and have close to 70, 65 to 70 wins at All Star break, yeah,
Yeah. Well, then, yeah, then they'll be good. I mean, if Degrom can come back at
yeah,
all and just be any sort of Degrom, but
maybe
anyways, let's
half
talk
of
about the
himself.
next team. Yeah. I mean, can he stay healthy though again? Who knows? Let's talk about the next team, the Houston Astros. As a Mariners fan, all I have to say is this team doesn't go away and it's bugging the crap out of me. Why are they good every freaking year? You're supposed to be good for a couple of years and then suck. That's just what you're supposed to do. This team is not doing that. They are unbelievable. Notable losses: Michael Brantley, Hector Neris, Ryan Stanek, and Phil Maton. So they lost some bullpen guys, but they added Josh Hader. Josh freaking Hader is now in this division. I have to watch him close out ninth innings against the Mariners. That's just not going to be pretty. Lineup is loaded again. What do you think about this Astros team?
Yeah, they're even better. Losing Hector Neris was a blessing.
Don't tell me
That
that.
guy's
That's true. That's true.
that
That's
guy's one of the worst closers ever.
he
Him and
is. Where did he
Fernando
go?
Rodney. Uh, uh, I can't. I think he's still a free agent. I don't think he's signed anywhere.
Okay.
And if he did, I mean, it'd be a 1 year
Hey,
minimum deal again, going
you're not making
somewhere
fun of
random.
Fernando Rodney, are you? Shooting the arrow in the sky? Come on. Come
Yeah, I mean, he's it's sketchy to get on it. Hector Neris, you're always shaking your boots when every time you step to the mound, especially
Yeah.
when he was at Philly. That was insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, I mean they're still good. If Verlander's starting off, I think hurt, but he'll probably come back. And even if he's half of the Verlander he is, it's still
Mm-hmm.
Verlander, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. Valdez, Javier, obviously. Then you get then you go to the bullpen, like you said, Presley, Adden Hader, who literally is the past 5 years the best closer in the game
Mm-hmm.
by far. And just like
Yep.
I said, trading Neris for Hader, that's you can't get any better.
Like, yeah.
It's-
No.
People just want to go to Houston. That's what it seems like. People want to keep
I agree.
re-signing in Houston and staying.
I agree,
That's why.
and
That's why they're
their
good.
bullpen kinda reminds me a little bit of a couple years ago when they won the World Series. They were so loaded. Like, when it was bullpen time, you just knew. I mean, you're not scoring off them. You just aren't, and it's not as deep this year. But with Hader, Ryan Presley, Montero, all those guys, they do have a great trio, and then the rest is kind of up in the air. Forrest Whitley, you guys remember him, a top pitching prospect in the majors. He is now going to the bullpen. That's where he's
Yeah.
at now. Dylan Coleman, guys like that. So can they step up? Because if one or two of those guys step up with that trio they have, I mean, it's kind of lights out. But let's talk about their hitters. I gotta talk about one in particular. We know about the big four: the Altuve's, the most punchable face in MLB, Alex Bregman, Jordan Alvarez, and Kyle Tucker. I mean, they have one of the best offensive catchers in the league now, and that's what pisses me off because they have other hitters.
Yes.
Yainer Diaz is freaking good, and it sucks to see them. He would be a top of the order hitter for us easily. He hit 282 with 23 bombs in only 102 games last year. He's only 25 years old. I mean, I don't know what you think about him, but a breakout year, 30 home run season is very much in the cards for him.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's always a plus when you have a catcher that can hit. That's why you
Yeah.
get those weird guys like JT Realmuto and whatnot. yeah, no, dude's legit. The key also too is if Jose Abreu can turn it around and go back to Chicago White Sox Abreu, that Houston's definitely up there.
Dude,
Obviously, if we
loaded.
could do that. Kyle Tucker's better than Juan Soto if you look at their numbers, which is even
Wow,
insane.
hot take, but
Yeah,
I don't disagree that they're that far off, and I will say they went from, Martin Maldonado, who is one of the worst hitting catchers in MLB history, but an unbelievable defensive catcher, so they traded defense for offense. Diaz is not the same behind the plate, but he can absolutely rake, but Kyle Tucker's
all
a
about
stud.
offense now.
No, and if Yordan Alvarez can stay healthy, he's an MVP candidate. That guy, he just haunts my dreams since the Robbie Ray pitch in the playoffs for a walk-off home run. It kills me, but he is an unbelievable hitter. But their pitchers, Luis Garcia, the pitcher that rocks the baby, Lance McCullers, who's always hurt. They're both out to the second half of the year. Justin Verlander's 41, by the way. Do you know that? He's 41 years old. What is he, the Tom Brady of baseball? Can he just stop already? He's a
He gets
Mariner
better.
killer. I know, and it's stupid. Framber Valdez, first half of the year, 2.51 ERA, gave up 7 home runs in 111 innings, and then the second half hit. We talked about it in the midseason preview, and he just struggled. Second half of the year, 4.66 ERA, 12 home runs, giving up in only 87 innings. Which Framber Valdez are we gonna get? And then which Christian Javier are we gonna get? Was he not one of the biggest pitching disappointments in the majors last year? His K percentage dropped from 33% to 23%. And then the ERA went from 2.54 2 years ago to 4.56 last season. His ground ball percentage was already low at 29%. It is now down to 25% ground ball rate. He literally is almost incapable of getting someone to hit the ball on the ground. It is absolutely wild to me. And then another question mark, can Hunter Brown, we all know the young Hunter Brown, can he have a better second season? It was his rookie year. He threw more than 130 innings for the first time in his career. He had an ERA over 5, but he did show some flashes of it. But, he had a 3.30 BABIP against him, which was a batting average with balls in play. So that's gonna come down. That's pretty high. 27% K rate. I just wanna get your quick opinion. Do we see do we think Framber Valdez, Christian Javier, Hunter Brown are all gonna take this next step again, or what do you think about this rotation in general right now?
They will. I think they will, especially with all the pressure, with McCullers and the key guys out. They're gonna have to. Verlander's out, McCullers is out. Valdez and Framber are 1 and 2 aces on 90% of the league if they wanted to, if they went to a different team, which is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, Astros have 4 guys in their lineup that could be aces on any other team.
Yeah, I know. It's stupid. McCullers is actually pretty nasty if he could ever stay healthy. He
Yes.
just never can. Yeah. He throws his curveball like 110% of the time. It's apparently not good on his arm. But the bullpen's top heavy, like we already talked about. So overall, this team is loaded. They're the favorites to win this freaking division, and I'm just over it. I just need them to just suck. Okay. And here's why. Because we're gonna move on to the greatest team to ever play baseball. The Seattle Mariners. My team, and the only team on planet Earth to never make a World Series. You see the gray in my beard? It's not my 2 toddlers, it's the freaking Seattle Mariners. They had a weird offseason. We all expected them to spend a ton of money, get all these big bats, and we are playing for the World Series. But because we are a joke of a franchise sometimes, we lost money with a TV deal, and we had to be a little cheap and figure out ways around it. Nothing like in a rebuild and you're hitting your prime years and you have to be cheap with your money. Just go figure. But anyways, notable additions: Mitch Garver, a good piece. He's going to be a great DH for this team. Jorge Polanco, Mitch Haniger, welcome back to Seattle after doing not much in San Fran because you got hurt again. And then Luke Raley. So we added some good depth pieces. I was talking to Brad a little bit about it before the video. It's depth. We didn't add that absolutely unbelievably impact bat, but we did add some depth, which helps because we had some terrible bottom of the lineups. And then we lost Teoscar Hernandez. Jared Kelnick did not work out, and he was supposed to be just the next best thing, like a lot of Mariners prospects. But he is now going to Atlanta, where he is going to hit 340 home runs for the Atlanta Braves this year, probably. And then we lost Eugenio Suarez and Robbie Ray, who was dealing with a lot of injuries. But I'll let you talk. What do you think about my Seattle Mariners before I get into it?
I think they're going to be great. Like you said, I think they're going to fight. I still think the Rangers will win the division, but I think Seattle and Astros are going to fight for that second spot. Seattle's good. I mean, like you said, starting rotation. You got Castillo, Kirby, Gilbert's pretty good. Um, good closer Munoz. He's one of the best too. Also got Brash in the bullpen. He's nice. But you're hitting. You got another good hitting catcher as well. Rally, he's good.
Mhm.
Also, like you said, you got Polanco. J.P. Crawford is getting there. He seems to be improving every single year. Of course, you have Julio Rodriguez, who's literally a freaking stud. And like you said,
Mm.
Mitch Garver, not having him catch and just put him at DH is going to help
Oh,
him
yep, I
because he hits
agree.
way better playing DH than actually catching. And Rowley's
Mhm.
actually a good catcher, even though Mitch Garver is a really good defensive catcher.
Mm.
So he will be able to step back there, especially DHing to help out. But no,
Yep.
Seattle looks good. I like them.
Okay, great answer. Now here's what I'm gonna say. I don't usually talk so great about my team. This is the number one starting rotation in all of baseball. That's just my opinion. They are the number one. This is insane, guys. Let's just if you don't know anything about the Seattle Mariners, you got to listen to this. Three of the top nine Cy Young favorites right now are Seattle Mariner pitchers: Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, and George Kirby. And then you also have Bryce Miller, who's in the top 30 in Cy Young odds, and then Brian Wu, another starting pitcher who's an up and coming guy. This team is loaded. Not this team, sorry. This rotation is loaded. Not one of these starting pitchers, and a lot of them are very, very young, had an ERA over 4.32. None of them had an ERA or a WHIP over 1.22. This is absolutely the strength of the team. We are going to be playing a lot of low scoring, boring games like we are used to for a long time. But I'm going to talk about one of those guys a little later, so I won't say anything more. But like you said, the lineup is more deep. Can Ty France bounce back, also hitting 6 or 7? What are we going to get out of Haniger, Luke Raley, guys like that? We know Julio's going to be an MVP candidate probably every year for the rest of his career. He had a good year last year, and he was still unhappy with it. So it's tough to say how we're going to exactly finish. Can everyone stay healthy? But I think this rotation can carry them pretty far. But when you go up against the Astros and the Rangers type lineups, I mean, it's just our lineup is definitely the 3rd best lineup in this division, it's not even close, but our pitching is unbelievable, so we're gonna have to win it with pitching, but we'll see, we'll see where the Mariners end up. I always have hope, and then after, like, a month or 2, I realize we're the Mariners again, so we'll see. I need them to, show something to me so I'm actually excited, and get us to NFL season, so, but like you said real quick, Matt Brash, the slider that he throws, I think they said was the nastiest pitch in all of baseball. It is absolutely bonkers. And then Andres Munoz throws over 100 miles an hour. And then they just got, I don't know if you know him, Gregory Santos from the White Sox, another flamethrower. I mean, they got their bullpen is loaded too. So I love the pitching. I'm okay on the hitting, and that's where we're at with the Seattle Mariners. Did I miss anything on them? Am I too hard on my team?
No, you hit it pretty spot on. I have them winning like 97 games. I like Wu.
Wow.
I think he's gonna have a breakout season. I was watching metrics on Wu. He's pretty legit.
He
Don't
is, yeah.
sleep on Wu. He should probably be in a Cy Young candidate, to be honest.
Yeah, and he's the number 5 starter for us. That's what's
Yeah,
insane about this.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, he's legit.
exciting. Anyways, before we get to the best bets and for the futures, we got 2 more teams to talk about, but we're gonna be quicker because these teams are hot garbage as well. The LA Angels. Notable losses. They lost a guy named Sahohi Otani. Do you know him? He's
Obvi?
pretty freaking good. He is absolutely just the greatest player ever. Not really, but they lost Escobar, Grichuk, Stassi, Mustakas. Who cares? They lost Shohei. Notable additions. They did add a good bullpen piece, which they needed. Robert Stevenson. They had a Zach Plesac, who hasn't amounted to anything. Aaron Hicks, Cisnero. Nothing big here, guys. No one is projected in this lineup to hit 270. Only Mike Trout is projected to hit over 23 home runs. Anthony Rendon doesn't care about baseball. If you heard his interview, he just doesn't even really want to be playing. It's just a job to him, and he wants to go home. But I just have a question: Are the Angels the only team that, not the only team, but do they just give out the worst contracts in the world? Rendon, how about the 10-year deal to Albert Pujols? I mean, do they
Yeah,
just?
it's pretty close, and it's funny because they didn't give out a contract to the right guy too. How do you not give a contract to Shohei, the
Yep.
one guy that
No,
should
I
have probably got one besides Trout, and he
agree.
goes to the
It's
Dodgers.
but they gave Trout a lot of money. I don't know if they wanted to pay him, but and then you got Mike Trout,
Yeah,
which you think it would be a good deal, but he can't stay healthy now in his age. It's just things have just not worked out. Their lineup is just not good. They have a youngster named Nolan Schanuel, I think you pronounce it. He was brought up only 40 days after being drafted last year. 40 days after being drafted, number
Yeah.
11 in the draft. He hit 275 and 109 at bats. So, I mean, you got a little hope there, but that doesn't mean anything. This rotation is unbelievable. I don't know if you guys remember, I just said the Mariners didn't have a pitcher with an ERA over 4.32. This Angels rotation may not have a pitcher below 4.32. It is not pretty. What do you think about the pitching rotation for this team?
Well, their best pitcher is Reed Detmers.
I
Put
have
that
that in
into
my notes
perspective.
exactly.
Yeah,
I literally put
he
that in
would
my notes.
he was 4-10 with a 4.48 ERA. Had 168 Ks, but I mean,
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, that's their best pitcher. And then I mean, they have a decent closer, Estevez, who came from
yeah,
Colorado, but that's
uh-huh.
that's literally it. That's literally all they got. And their hitting is literally just Brandon Drury. He's a really good utility player, and Rendon. Like that's literally it.
I
They did
agree.
get what's his face. They did get Hunter Dozier, who took 17, took the number
Huge.
17 because he said it's available, but they're he's fourth on their depth chart for outfield. Like he's probably not even gonna play.
No.
And this is spring training.
Um, you said it. I mean, Reed Detmers, Griffin Canning, and Patrick Sandoval are their top 3 in the rotation. They all had an ERA over 4 last year. It's not pretty. Reed Detmers can throw a no-hitter and then go give up 16 runs the next start. It is If you're an Angels fan, I'm sorry, but it is not pretty. Mike Trout is just literally sitting there and rotting. It reminds me of Felix Hernandez for the Seattle Mariners, but he's a pitcher. He only plays once every 5 days. Mike Trout, if he's not being traded, he is probably not going to be winning any playoff games. It's just wild to me. It's not like the NBA. One guy can control it. I feel bad for Trout. Hopefully, he can stay healthy at least and put together another good year. But this team is hot garbage. But what's worse than hot garbage, Brad? Do you
The
know?
Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, you do. The Oakland A's, yuck, disgusting. There is one guy that is good. Okay, that's wrong. But there's one guy that I like, Zach Geloff. 267, 14 bombs. I mean, he played well. He won Rookie of the Month in the AL in August. What do you have to say about this team? Do you have anything to say about them?
Oh well, I mean their best pitcher is Paul Blackburn, who was pretty much another Reed Detmers. But I mean, I like the catcher Shea Langoliers.
Yeah.
He's a good
Yep.
prospect that came up. Seth Brown is a decent guy. Brent Rooker is going to be traded at the deadline. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
stud. He batted
He's a 30 home
246
run
with
guy.
yeah, he had exactly 30 bombs, 69
Mhm.
ribbies. They're just on a terrible team where you can't get more ribbies.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's kind
and
of what
Ruiz,
happens. But yeah, yeah,
wasn't Ruiz the top base stealer in the majors last year or something? Broke a record. I don't know.
yeah.
So Esteury or a
Yeah, he'd
race.
get
Yeah.
on. Yeah, I went to the last Miguel Cabrera game in Oakland, and I think he stole like 4 bases that game.
Because
He
he
went
knew
from
his
first to
teammates weren't gonna hit him around.
yeah, yeah, he went from first to third twice.
Jesus. Yeah, but this rotation, JP Sears showed some improvement last year. But like you said, Blackburn's shown glimpses of being good.
Yeah,
But other than that, I mean, it's a bunch of junk. Like we're talking Stripling, Alex Wood, Funky Cole Medina, and Luis Medina. I mean, they're here's the weird part is everyone was looking forward to their starting pitcher prospect Mason Miller, and then they just moved him to the bullpen. So apparently they don't think that highly of him. But he may end up being the closer sometime soon because he throws some gas. But otherwise, the Oakland A's are competing again for the worst team in the league. It's ugly. They want to go to Vegas. Apparently, Vegas doesn't want them. Brad said, and
yep,
so
yep.
maybe they can go play on like the Sandlot Park until it's some city wants to take them because it's just ugly right now. But yeah, that's the AL West, guys. The three-headed monster. The A's are not one of them. The Angels are not. It's going to be the Mariners, Astros, and Rangers. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if any of those 3 teams won the division. Well, as a Mariner fan, I'd probably be a little surprised if we won the division. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. But I did want to say one more thing about a Mariner player, just because I can. Julio Rodriguez. He is one of only 12 players in MLB history to finish in the top 10 in MVP voting more than once before his 23rd birthday. How about that? Joe DiMaggio, Hank Aaron, Frank Robinson, Bob Fellers, Pujols, Trout, Soto, Tatis doesn't count. He's on steroids. Ricky Henderson, and Vern Stevens are the other 11. How about that company, huh? For Mr. Julio Rodriguez. Gotta love it. I just want to say it because once the season
Rare
started, I might
sight.
not have a lot of good things to say about the Mariners. So, um, but anyways, that's the AL West, and that just gives all the AL teams for you. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Just we love talking some baseball here, but I know some of you guys are only here for the best future bets. So without any more waiting, let's get into it. All right, this part of the video is brought to you by Better Bets, BTR Bets. It is the best place to find, track, analyze, and share bets. Click that link below and go check out BTR Bets. All right, it's time for the American League Futures. That's right, and we are going to kick it to Brad to start us off.
All right, I got my three best bets I have for the season. I have the Baltimore Orioles winning the division at plus 220. I think they're still going to be better than the Yankees and Toronto, and of course the Red Sox. So that should be a lock-in bet right there. And then I have the Texas Rangers for bet number 2, winning the World Series at plus 1400. That'd be them going back to back, but I think they have the best team in the AL as of right now. So I think they'll definitely be in it. So why not bet it? And then my favorite, is from the Detroit Tigers, Tariq Skubal winning the AL Cy Young at plus 1600. That one's almost a lock in my opinion as well. Because I mean, as Steven said earlier, he's the man. So we'll see you there. And I do have one bold prediction. The Yankees are not going to make the playoffs.
There you go. You heard it first. The Yankees will not make the playoffs. Let's talk about your bets real quick before we switch to mine. Which one are you the most confident in here?
Most confident is probably going to be Baltimore winning the division. Obviously has the lowest odds, but in that division, I don't see any team being better than them as of right now. They won it last year with the worst roster. They have an even better one now. And the other teams didn't really get any better. Red Sox got worse. The Rays got worse. Yankees are about the same. And Toronto's about the same. I mean, they got all they really lost was Matt Chapman and got Justin Turner. So why
I,
not?
I do think the Yankees are improved, but I don't think it's enough to win an AL East. I agree with you. Orioles to win the AL East was on my short list of a possible bet, so I'm backing you up on that. It's tough to win the World Series twice. We'll see. The crazy part is that their rotation is going to be a big question mark. And then same with the Orioles. As long as they can stay healthy, what if Bradish is out for the year and John Means is out for half the year? You still like the Orioles? You think Corbin Burns and Grayson Rodriguez can hold down the fort?
Yeah, I mean, especially in that division. Like I
Mhm.
said, they're playing the Rays and the Red Sox, multiple times. Those are going to be free, easy wins for them. And same thing with Toronto. Toronto's probably the only team I think that can actually match up with Baltimore. I
Yeah.
don't think the Yankees can match up with them. I think they're just it's all home run or nothing, and Baltimore will outrun them. They have speed, youth. They're
I
just
like
better.
it. And the Orioles, I mean, they got a taste of the playoffs. They saw what it
Yeah.
was like to lose, and you heard those guys talk in the spring training. They are hungry. I mean, they're hungrier than
Mm-hmm.
they ever were when you get a little taste of it. And then for that last bet, Scooble, another guy I absolutely love. If he stays healthy, he may be the nastiest or toughest pitcher to hit in the AL. Obviously, Garrett Cole's up there. He's just a beast, but Scooble is tough, guys. Now, can he stay healthy? Can he be actually tough and stick out a full season? That's the question. But I like the three bets, honestly. I mean, my favorites are probably the third and the first one. I don't know about the Rangers winning it all again with their rotation, but man, their lineup is loaded. So, anyways, those are Brad's best bets for the American League. Now let's go to the winning ones, and it's gonna get a little crazy at the end. Let me just explain it to you when we get there. But first, we start out, and don't call us biased, but we both have one pitcher from our favorite team to win the Cy Young. So it is what it is. It just happened that way. We were trying to find it, but let's start out with Mr. George Kirby to win the Cy Young, plus 1,500 on FanDuel. He is absolutely elite and absolutely historic when it comes to not walking batters. He had a 2.5% walk rate last season, which is insane. 2.5%. No one threw more pitches in the strike zone than George Kirby with a minimum of 1,000 pitches. He threw 57.1% of pitches in the strike zone. Number two and three, in case you're curious, Mitch Keller and Ryan Nelson. But first 2 years in the majors, 3.39 and 3.35 ERA. This guy is consistent as it gets. He has a fastball slider sinker mix that is absolutely beautiful to watch. Fastball around 96 miles an hour, 17.8% swinging strike rate on that, and that's the 99th percentile. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. He controls his pitches unlike any other. And to be honest, even when he has bad games, it doesn't last long. He only threw 4 games last season where he gave up more than 4 earned runs. And after that, he allowed 1 earned run or less in the next start. I mean, he does not go start after start where he's struggling, which is helpful, obviously, if you're trying to win a Cy Young. But he could end up with the best strikeout to walk ratio in the major leagues. He's that good. He hates walking people. He just despises it. When you hear him talk in interviews and everything, he just can't stand it. If he can get his strikeout rate up a little bit, the sky is the limit for the most accurate pitcher in the world. Give me George Kirby or insert Seattle Mariners pitcher, but I like Kirby's potential more than I do like Gilbert. Obviously, Castillo's up there too, but give me Kirby as my first bet. The second one, let's go to AL Rookie of the Year, Wyatt Langford to win it at plus 700. I mean, it's just absolutely insane, guys. And actually, you know what? I might have got that at plus 800. I did. So that's going to be plus 800 on ESPN bet if you have that. Um, so let me just explain this. This just kind of goes with what Brad was saying about the Rangers. He's a Ranger, by the way, if you don't know Wyatt Langford. The Rangers now have 2 of the 3 favorites for Rookie of the Year. Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford, who's 22 years old. It's an embarrassment of riches that the Rangers have. He was drafted number 4 overall just in the 2023 draft, but we're starting to see some players just kind of get up to the majors pretty quick nowadays. And in the 4 months that he spent in the minors, that's right, he hit 360, 12 doubles, 10 home runs, and 200 plate appearances. And oh, by the way, he stole 12 bases. In Double A, he hit 405. In Triple A, he hit 368. No, this is not MLB Road to the Show. This is absolute real life. This is not T-ball. He is absolutely raking. In spring training, this is crazy. Langford was taking batting practice, live batting practice for the Rangers. Pitching coach Mike Maddox walked out there. He watched him take it, walked back to the clubhouse, and told people that that is the best player on the field. I mean, guys, this guy is legit. Give me Wyatt Langford. You may not know about him right now, but you will know about him soon as long as he can find a spot to play because this Rangers lineup is absolutely loaded. He's going to be protected everywhere in the lineup because they're so good. So give me Langford to win the Rookie of the Year at plus 800. And then my third and final bet, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. over 33 and a half home runs at minus 110. I think it's going to be a breakout year for Vlad. I say it with a little, let's see what the word skepticism because it's Vlad. But you know what? He lost some weight. Congratulations. He looks actually ready to play. I've been critical on him in the past because I think he's just got the most talent in the freaking world. He looks like he's finally in shape. He's taking it seriously. And he's kind of been regressing a little bit the last couple of years. And when I say this, he's still a stud player. He's not. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but at age 22, he hit 48 home runs and had a 311 batting average. Unfortunately, that's what we all thought we were going to get every year. He followed that up the last 2 seasons, hitting 32 and 26 home runs. And but his Ks and walks have stayed the same. Hard hit percentage is about the same. So nothing crazy. He actually had the highest line drive percentage of any major league or of his own career. So the stats say he's not falling apart or anything like that. But I don't think hitting 34 is that big of a deal for a guy that I think is hungry. He needs to. He's due for a chance to win MVP and to have a big season like this. If he can get some balls lifted in the air a little bit, like I said, even on kind of a down year, he hit 32 one year, but this is a guy who can hit 40 to 50. I mean, when he is on, he can hit 40 to 50. And I just think there's a chance he does, honestly. And to be bold, there's a chance when he really turns it around, he is absolutely an AL MVP candidate. I mean, that's without a question. So he's got all the power. I just need 34 from Vlad. That's it. 34. If you want to sprinkle on his MVP, it might not be a bad idea as like a buy low spot because of the last 2 years that he's had. But again, he's still young, guys. This guy is young. He was at one point the highest, top, best prospect in all the land. And I don't think he's fallen off. So I think he's going to hit 34 more home runs. Give me Vlad as my third and final. No, not final feature. Sorry, my third one. Now, this fourth and fifth one, it's going to get a little weird. Let's go to the AL Central. Who doesn't want to talk about that division? You could take the Twins to win it at minus 115. The Twins are winning it. It's just happening. But I don't want to take them at minus 115. So what we could do is do an exact finish, which Brad did last year quite a bit, and he did not nail the AL Central. I will say that. But anyways, I'm gonna go Twins first and Detroit second place. Okay, that's plus 350. Say you want to put a half unit on that unit, whatever it is you want to bet. That's another way of putting the Twins to win, right? So you're saying, well, what if the Guardians finish second? Okay, let's make a second bet where we take the Twins to win first place again and the Guardians to win second. That's plus 360. You were gonna win one of those 2 bets. That's the same thing as taking the Twins. I just couldn't decide between Detroit and Cleveland because 'cause they're kinda deadlocked for me. you're going to make profit. If you just bet both of those, you will make profit because it's plus 350 and plus 360. And it's just much better than taking minus 115. I know it may have sounded confusing, but I think taking those two separate bets, if you're as confident as I am about the Twins winning the division, and I absolutely think they will. They're the most talented team. We've talked about it. They're going to get Royce Lewis and Byron Buxton, hopefully for the full season. We will see. But they had some injuries last year. They won 87 games and still won the division by 9 games. I mean, that's how bad this division is. So you know what? Give me the Twins first, Detroit second, and then another one, Detroit or Twins first and Guardians second. If you don't want to do that, or if you have a stronger feel over Detroit or Cleveland, whatever one, then just take one of these, and you got a nice plus 350 or plus 360 bet. So, any questions about that bet? Leave a comment below because that might have been confusing, but I like it. Just another better, more creative, better odds type of bet instead of just taking the Twins to win the AL Central. So that's my rambling. Those are the AL futures. What do you think about those bets, Brad? You like them?
They're great. Yeah, I'd stick with the Minnesota Detroit one though.
Oh,
That's
really?
for
No
sure.
bias at all, huh? Not
Yeah,
at
no
all.
bias at all. The Cleveland and Detroit are going to be pretty similar. I think it's going to be a battle.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be surprised if either one takes second place in the division.
I agree. And the one thing I didn't say is I'm so confident in this one because I'm not worried about the Royals or the White Sox creeping into second.
No,
Like just not
no.
even a little bit. So real quick, just wanted to get your opinion. Are we seeing was that year at age 22 that Vlad had just maybe the outlier and he's really just a solid player but not superstar, or do you think he can get back to that?
I think you get back to that. I mean, they just made him the cover athlete for MLB The Show, so
So was
hopefully he
Jazz
doesn't get
Chisholm.
no curse. Yeah,
So was Jazz
Yeah,
Chisholm, so who
Chaz
cares?
Chisholm. The year of the game they were terrible.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't happen to Vlad. But no, he's a great player. Obviously, he's a stud. He's surrounded by studs, so he gets some help. Um, yeah, I can easily see him hitting 34 bombs. He might bat
Yeah.
260 doing it, but I can see 34 bombs.
He can hit 200 and hit 40 bombs.
Yeah,
I could care less. Just give me
yeah.
34. But yeah, those are the American League futures, and that's the American League. That was a lot of fun to talk baseball. Man, it's been way too long. We're gonna have a National League video. That's right. We're gonna bring Brad back, and we're gonna give you some more futures and preview the NL East, NL Central, and NL West. There is a team that's kind of a slight favorite in that league. That's for sure. I think you've heard of them. It's the Dodgers. But we'll talk about all that. And that's the American League video. We appreciate you guys listening. That was a ton of fun. Brad, thanks for joining us, talking some baseball and making fun of the Yankees. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
And get ready because we got the National League coming, baby. That's right. So, anyways, hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below with your favorite bet of the American League, some bold predictions, whatever it is you want to do, because I love talking some baseball. So, that's what we got for you for the MLB AL preview. Hope everyone has a good one, and we'll talk to you soon.